Tonight, you're invited somewhere quiet, somewhere above the noise of the world, to a rooftop garden cafe where the rain falls gently, lanterns glow softly, and every breath begins to slow down. This is a place made for tired minds, for overthinkers, for anyone who just needs a peaceful night. So find a comfortable spot, let the sound of the rain hold you, and allow this sleep story to guide you gently toward rest. You're safe here, you're welcome here, and you don't have to think about anything anymore. Just relax and let the night take care of you. Night drifts over the quiet town like a soft blanket, folding gently over rooftops, chimneys, and cobbled streets polished by an earlier rain. The last traces of daylight fade into the distance, taking the day's noise along with them. What remains is stillness, the kind of peaceful, lingering quiet that invites every thought to slow, every breath to soften, every worry to loosen its grip and quietly drift away. The world feels unhurried here, somewhere along a narrow street, at the corner where the road curves just slightly toward the river, stands a small shop with a wooden sign that rocks slowly in the breeze. The lettering is simple, hand-painted, and worn smooth by time. Umbrellas repaired, restored, and made with care. The windows are dim, the shutters are partly closed, and from outside, the place looks as though it has finished its duties for the day, as though every task is complete, every promise gently kept, every umbrella carefully placed back on its shelf. Yet inside, the night is only beginning. A soft golden glow slips through the cracks of the shutters, spilling faintly onto the wet pavement. The gentle reflection trembles in tiny puddles, shimmering whenever the wind passes through the street. Somewhere nearby, a distant church clock hums the hour, its sound round and warm and unhurried. And just like that, the town settles a little deeper into rest. Within the shop, the air carries the scent of polished wood, fabric, tea leaves lingering in a cup, and the faint earthiness of umbrellas recently returned from the rain. Rows of handles, each one unique, rest silently in wooden stands. Fabrics folded neatly, threads arranged patiently. Old tools waiting calmly on the workbench. Everything seems to breathe with a gentle kind of memory. Nothing here is rushed. Nothing here expects anything of you. You are simply welcome. This is a place where time loosens, where thoughts unravel gently, where the world outside can remain outside, while you step into a softer one, a world made not of worry, but of warmth and quiet craft. The old umbrella maker himself moves slowly in the glow of the lamplight, his silhouette steady and calm. He works with almost meditative rhythms, touching each item as though it has its own story, as though every umbrella carries moments, journeys, and small comforts held quietly inside. and as night deepens, the shop becomes less like a workplace and more like a sanctuary, a gentle refuge, a quiet pause between 1 hour and the next. Here, there is no rush to finish anything, no pressure to think clearly, no need to solve or fix, just breath slowing, mind unwinding, body gently settling into rest. And as the night continues, the story of this peaceful little shop and the umbrella maker who tends to it opens softly, like an old book whose pages whisper reassurance. You are safe here. You are welcome to rest, and the night will take care of the rest. The rain had begun earlier in the evening, not in a sudden rush, but with the kind of tender patience that seems to ask permission from the sky before it falls. It traced delicate paths along the tiled rooftops, slipped down gutters, and threaded its way through the narrow spaces between chimneys before finally meeting the cobblestones below. The town welcomed it the way an old friend is welcomed after a long journey. Street lamps flickered to life slowly, not out of duty, but out of gentle understanding. Their golden light spread outward in soft circles, each glow dissolving into the mist. The bricks, the slate roofs, the wooden doors, everything shimmered faintly, as if the night itself were exhaling. On the corner, just where the road curves, as if bowing respectfully toward the river, the umbrella maker's shop stood sturdily and thoughtfully, as though it had seen many nights like this and held them all quietly in memory. The shutters were half closed, the sign swayed, and the droplets formed small rivers that danced along its windowsill before falling to the pavement below. Inside, the world was different. The outside night carried movement, the inside night carried peace. The umbrella maker had lit only one lamp, and its glow rested like a halo over the workbench. The rest of the shop lingered in twilight shadows, not dark, not hidden, simply resting. The shelves of carefully arranged umbrellas felt almost like an audience listening to the soft sounds within. The faint ticking of a clock, the whisper of threads sliding through fingers, the slow creak of the old wooden floor when the maker shifted his weight. He worked quietly. He always did. His hands, though aging, moved with steady intention, brushing fabric flat, tightening a tiny screw, smoothing the curved wooden handles with a cloth that smelled faintly of lemon oil and pine. Each motion had a rhythm that seemed older than he was, as if it had been taught not by a teacher, but by time itself. There were umbrellas made for storms, umbrellas meant for Sunday strolls, umbrellas stitched long ago and returned again and again for gentle repairs. Some carried tiny scratches along their handles, traces of days when their owners hurried. Others bore faint marks of laughter, of moments where 2 or 3 people had shared coverage beneath them, shoulders close, voices soft, The umbrella maker always imagined those stories. He didn't pry, he didn't speculate dramatically. He simply understood that objects sometimes hold feelings, quiet ones, and he treated them the way one treats quiet things, carefully, respectfully, and with warmth. Above the counter hung a small bell that chimed whenever the door opened. Tonight, it was silent. The shop was closed to customers, but open to night, a difference that mattered greatly to the umbrella maker. Night is for listening, he often whispered, mostly to himself. And tonight, the night listened back. Rain threaded its music across the roof gently, tapping every so often in soft, rhythmic patterns. The wind slipped past as if checking in briefly before continuing on. Somewhere far off, a train sounded like a distant sigh. He brewed tea slowly, as if even the water should not be startled. The cup warmed his palms, and he carried it with him as he walked between rows of umbrellas, letting his fingertips graze the edges of fabric. He wasn't inspecting, he wasn't judging. He was simply visiting them, acknowledging the stories they silently carried. Sometimes, during these quiet walks, he felt as though the umbrellas relaxed too, as though the folded fabric softened, as though the wooden handles released the day's chill, as though the entire shop remembered that work, at its truest, was never about hurry, it was always about care. And there, resting carefully on the counter, lay the umbrella he had chosen for tonight's gentle repair. It was older than the others, with delicate ribs and fabric that hinted at faded colors that once shone richer. The handle had been carved lovingly, its spiral design smooth under the fingertips. A tiny tear had formed at the seam, not from neglect, but from age, the kind of small imperfection that tells a story of long companionship. He sat, bringing the lamp closer. The light spilled gently across the umbrella, touching it like a reassuring hand. He threaded the needle slowly, steadied his breath, and began to stitch, not to force the fabric back into obedience, but to help it continue. Every loop closed with patient certainty. Every knot felt like a promise. Outside, the street seemed conscious of this moment. The rain softened even further, settling into the faintest murmur. The lamplight leaned through the shutters delicately, casting faint lines across the wooden floor. The clock ticked its approval. The umbrella maker hummed something quiet, a tune without words, carried from old memories of evenings like this, decades ago. He didn't need to remember where the melody came from. It felt like the night invented it each time. From time to time, he paused, not because he was unsure, but because he understood the value of gentle pauses, how they let the mind rest, how they allow thoughts to pass like soft clouds. He would set the umbrella down, take another sip of tea, and notice small things. glimmer on a brass hook, the delicate fray of thread waiting patiently, the reflection of lamplight in the polished surface of the counter. No thought needed to lead anywhere, no question demanded an answer. The quiet itself was the conversation. Years ago, he had lived a busier life, full of schedules and appointments, trains caught at the last second, deadlines circled on calendars. But eventually he had found his way here, to this shop, to this slower rhythm, as if he had stepped into a story already in progress, one written for people who needed to remember how to breathe. And as he stitched, he wondered, not anxiously, not restlessly, simply wondered, gently. Who would carry this umbrella next? Would it shelter someone crossing a quiet plaza at twilight? Would it be shared on a park bench where two people talked about dreams softly? Would it travel across seasons, folded neatly in a hallway, waiting patiently for rain? He didn't need the answers. The wondering itself was peaceful. The tear closed. The seam rested flat again. He traced it with his fingers, nodding, satisfied not with perfection, but with care. He rubbed a drop of oil along the hinge, turned the small screw just enough to tighten the joint, then closed the umbrella with a slow, graceful motion. It clicked with a gentle certainty, as though saying thank you. He placed it upright in the rack near the door. There was something almost ceremonial about the way he did it, the simple act of returning something to its place with quiet gratitude. The shop grew even softer then, as though finishing one small task had completed a simple circle. He moved to the back of the shop and opened a narrow window slightly. Cool night air drifted in, carrying the scent of rain and distant river water, mingled with chimney smoke from homes where tea kettles whistled and conversations softened into evening murmurs. Somewhere, a dog barked once, not alarmed, only curious, then fell quiet again. The umbrella maker leaned his elbows on the sill and listened. He wasn't lonely. He wasn't waiting. He was simply sharing the night, the way one shares a blanket. Across the street, the bakery had long since closed, but the faint sweetness of bread still clung to the air. A bicycle leaned against a lamppost, beads of rain gathering along its frame. Shop signs rested, windows held soft reflections of passing clouds, and the entire street seemed to understand that this was not a time for movement. It was a time for gentleness. He returned to his chair, picking up an old notebook, one filled with sketches, notes about repairs, little drawings of umbrella designs that had come to him like quiet dreams. The pages were yellowed slightly. The ink had faded in places, but he turned them slowly, as if each page were part of a conversation with the past. He smiled faintly at one old sketch, the first umbrella he had ever made on his own. It was imperfect, asymmetrical, slightly crooked, and yet he remembered the pride that had filled him the day he finished it. The way his mentor had nodded approvingly, not at the result, but at the patience it had required. Patience, the mentor had said, was something umbrellas understood better than most people. They wait, he'd said gently, through sunny days, through months without rain. They wait without frustration, and when they are needed, they open. The umbrella maker closed the notebook. He let the words echo softly. Maybe that was why he loved this craft, because it was about readiness, about quiet presence, about not forcing anything to happen, yet being there when the moment arrived. He let the idea drift, not analyzing it, simply allowing it to float the way leaves float across a pond, and soon the steady rhythm of the rain became indistinguishable from the rhythm of his breathing. The lamplight dimmed just a touch, enough to soften the edges of the room. The shelves seemed to lean closer, like listeners made of wood and fabric. The air felt warmer, heavier with peace, like a blanket settling gently across shoulders. He finished his tea, set the cup down, and simply sat, not needing to do anything. The umbrella maker understood that nights like this carried quiet teachings, not lectured, not insisted upon, but offered gently. And tonight's lesson seemed to be about rest. The way rest was not something to achieve, but something to allow. He closed his eyes for a while, not to sleep, but to experience the darkness behind his eyelids, the way sound changed subtly, becoming rounder, softer. Every small sound, the tick of the clock, the rain, the faint movement of wood as the building breathed, blended into one slow lullaby. Time loosened. Minutes slipped by without leaving fingerprints, and somewhere inside him, where old worries once traveled, there was now only calm, the quiet understanding that some places exist solely to hold peace, to remind wandering thoughts that they do not always need to wander. In this quiet, the night deepened around the umbrella maker's shop, not heavier, not darker, simply deeper, like a pool of water settling into stillness. And in that stillness, the story of the shop opened a little more, inviting anyone who stepped near, even in imagination, to slow down, soften their shoulders, and feel the gentle safety of being unhurried. The umbrellas rested, the tools rested, the maker rested, the rain whispered, and the night continued peacefully. You stand for a moment at the top of the creaking staircase, letting your eyes adjust to the dim glow drifting from the round attic window. Dust dances lazily through the light like tiny comets drifting in slow motion. The air smells faintly of cedar and old paper, the kind of scent that reminds you of forgotten letters and winter mornings spent inside warm rooms. You take a slow breath, then another. Nothing here is rushed, Nothing here asks you to hurry. The attic feels like a place that has been patiently waiting, not demanding, not insisting, simply waiting for someone gentle enough to notice. Your footsteps move across the wooden floor. Each board hums softly beneath your weight, like a note from a very old violin. Along the far wall, wooden trunks rest stacked neatly beside each other, their brass latches tarnished with age. Beside them, shelves bend beneath rows of journals in different sizes, leather, bound, cloth, covered, some tied with fading ribbons, some left open as though someone meant to return but never did. You glide your fingertips across a nearby table, a layer of dust parts beneath your touch, revealing carved initials, 2 letters intertwined. Whoever carved them must have loved this place enough to leave a piece of themselves behind. A gentle stillness fills the attic, not empty, just quiet. You notice the way your shoulders slowly loosen, as if even your muscles know they are allowed to rest here. Thoughts that earlier buzzed like restless bees begin to soften, stretching out like sleepy cats in warm sunlight. A chair sits near the round window, draped in a knitted blanket. The yarn is thick and soft, woven in patterns that feel strangely familiar, as though someone who cared deeply took their time making it. You imagine them sitting here long ago, knitting through long winter evenings while snow whispered against the roof. You walk toward the chair and sit. The wood is warm, not cold. The cushion remembers the shape of countless people who must have rested here before you. You pull the blanket around your shoulders, and it fits like a wordless embrace, neither tight nor loose, simply right. Outside the window, the sky is a deep twilight blue, the kind that seems to hold both endings and beginnings at once. Stars appear gradually, as though they are shy and need encouragement. Somewhere in the distance, a single owl calls, its voice low and thoughtful. The sound does not startle you, it comforts you. It belongs here. You rest your palms on your lap and allow your breathing to fall into a slow, gentle rhythm. Each inhale arrives like a tide rolling softly towards shore. Each exhale drifts away like foam dissolving into sand. On the small table beside the chair lies one particular journal, larger than the rest, wrapped in deep brown leather with a thin gold line around the edge. A ribbon slips quietly from its pages like a bookmark that remembers exactly where someone last felt safe. Your curiosity stirs, not urgently, more like a candle flickering in calm air. You open the journal carefully, as though it might sigh from relief. The pages whisper when they turn, carrying a history of hands. Inside, the handwriting is elegant yet simple, looping gently, steady and thoughtful. The first line reads, "This attic is where I come when my thoughts become too loud." You pause. The words feel familiar, not because you have read them before, but because you understand them deeply, quietly, as if the writer was someone who knew the weight of wandering thoughts, the kind that travel far and return heavier. You continue. Here, time does not chase me. It sits beside me and listens. You smile faintly. Something inside your chest softens, loosening its grip. For a moment, you imagine time itself sitting across from you, patient like a friend who never checks their watch. You turn the page. The entry continues with calm gratitude, thanking the attic, thanking winter evenings, thanking silence for existing. The writer speaks about how this place has always felt gently alive, as if the beams and rafters carry memories the way trees carry rings beneath their bark. You close the book, not because you are finished, but because you already feel its message settling inside you, like snowfall layering slowly over a quiet field. A soft breeze slips through the cracked window, brushing your cheek. It carries with it the faintest shimmering of snowflakes drifting in the night. They fall past the glass, swirling, unhurried. Each one seems to discover its path naturally, without questioning where it should land. You let yourself imagine your thoughts doing the same, floating, drifting, finding their place without needing you to manage them. They do not demand solving here. They simply exist, and that is enough. Your head leans back gently against the chair. The blanket rests heavier across your shoulders. Somewhere beneath the floor, you hear a calm, steady tick, perhaps an old clock marking each second with the softness of falling rain. Tick, rest, tick, breathe. Minutes stretch into something wider, something quieter. You cannot tell whether the room is growing more silent, or if you are. And yet, the silence does not feel like absence. It feels like presence. It feels like being held. From across the attic, something faint glimmers, not bright, only noticeable because everything else is so still. A small wooden music box sits on a shelf, its lid engraved with delicate vines. You stand, curiosity again warming gently, and move toward it. You lift the lid. Inside, a little figure turns, a dancer frozen mid-twirl, and with a soft click, the mechanism begins to play. A melody rises, each note round and tender, floating through the air like snowflakes made of sound. The song is neither happy nor sad. It feels like remembering. As the melody drifts through the attic, memories gently surface, not sharp, not painful. They arrive as soft images, walks at dusk, laughter echoing in quiet kitchens, nights when you lay awake thinking the world was too heavy, and mornings when somehow you rose anyway. You realize something. This attic is not only a place, it is permission. Permission to pause, permission to exhale, permission to be human without needing to be anything else. You close the music box, and the final note hangs quietly, then melts back into stillness. A deep sense of warmth fills the space, not from a fire, not from any visible source, but from the simple knowing that here, nothing is expected of you. You return to the chair, sit, breathe. The ribbon journal rests again on your lap. Outside, the stars deepen, scattering across the sky like secrets the night gently keeps. The owl calls once more, slower this time, as if even it is beginning to tire. You feel your own body grow heavier in a peaceful way. Your arms relax, your legs soften. Your eyelids linger a little longer each time they blink. You don't force anything. You don't chase sleep. Instead, you let the attic do what it has always done for those who discover it. It holds you until your thoughts forget how to run and remember how to rest. For a while, you do nothing, absolutely nothing, and somehow everything inside you grows quieter. The world outside can wait. The attic understands, and you remain there, wrapped in warmth, wrapped in softness, wrapped in the gentle certainty that for this moment, you are exactly where you are meant to be. You rest a little longer in the attic, listening to the stillness as if it were a gentle conversation. The blanket around your shoulders feels heavier now, not because it has changed, but because your body has finally remembered how to relax. The ticking clock below continues its soft rhythm, the way ocean waves continue whether anyone watches them or not. For a while, you think you might simply stay in the chair forever, suspended between waking and sleep, between thought and quiet. But something in the room stirs again. Not a noise, not a movement, only a quiet awareness, as if the attic is suggesting, very politely, that there is more to see. Your gaze drifts across the floorboards. Near the far wall, half hidden beneath an old rug, lies a small metal ring. It looks like the handle of something, perhaps a trapdoor, perhaps simply a storage compartment forgotten over the years. You wouldn't have noticed it unless the rug had shifted the tiniest amount, exposing just enough to spark your curiosity. You rise slowly, keeping the softness of the moment intact, and walk toward it. Kneeling, you brush aside the rug. Dust rises, shimmering through the thin beam of moonlight from the window. Beneath it, you discover a square outline carved neatly into the floor. There is indeed a door. You curl your fingers around the ring. It is cool at first, then warms beneath your touch, like a handshake from an old friend. With a gentle pull, the door lifts. It doesn't creak. It simply opens, as though it has never resisted anyone who approached it kindly. Below the opening, a narrow set of steps descends into darkness. Yet the darkness is not threatening. It feels like the inside of a quiet dream. Unknown, yes, but calm and almost welcoming. A faint golden glow pulses somewhere down below, soft as candlelight through fog. You hesitate only long enough to take a slow breath. Then you step down. Each step is steady, patient. The air becomes cooler, scented with earth and old wood. The further you go, the more the golden glow grows, guiding you forward the way lanterns once guided travelers along forgotten roads. When you reach the bottom, you find yourself in a small underground room, not a basement, not quite a cellar. It feels more like a secret memory someone chose to bury gently rather than erase. Stone walls curve around you in a circle. Shelves carved directly into the stone hold objects that seem both ordinary and full of quiet importance. A pair of worn gloves, a cracked teacup, a child's wooden toy shaped like a fox. None of these things are valuable in the way the world usually describes value, and yet each one radiates a soft significance, as if they carry entire stories within them. You sense that whoever placed them here did so carefully, as though honoring moments that once mattered. At the center of the room stands a table. Upon it sits a lantern with a flame that does not flicker. The light glows steady and warm, wrapping the room in gold. Next to the lantern lies another journal, smaller than the one upstairs, its edges frayed from use. You open it gently. Inside, the handwriting is different, smaller, more uncertain, as though the writer hesitated between each word. I come here when the attic feels too loud. The first line reads, You blink softly. The attic loud. It seemed impossible, and yet you understand. Sometimes even peaceful places can feel crowded when our thoughts grow heavy. Sometimes quiet is not enough. We need deeper quiet, a place beneath the surface of things. You turn the page. I hide the moments I do not know how to carry. There is no sense of shame in the words, only honesty. The writer describes nights when worries stacked like books that could not be closed. Days when fear whispered louder than hope. Instead of pushing those feelings away, the writer placed tokens of them here, giving them form so they would not have to live inside the heart alone. Your eyes drift to the shelves again. The gloves belonged to a winter of loneliness, the cup to a conversation that ended too soon, the wooden fox to a goodbye that came earlier than expected. Yet standing here, none of these things feel painful. They feel softened, like waves that have traveled far enough to lose their sharpness. It occurs to you that perhaps memories, when held gently, eventually learn to rest. You close the journal and sit on a small bench carved into the stone wall. The lantern's glow settles across your hands. You notice how calm you feel. Not empty, simply lighter, as though this room has taken some unspoken weight from you and laid it carefully among its shelves, promising to watch over it. For a long, quiet stretch, you simply breathe. The longer you sit, the more clearly you sense something else in the room. Not an object, not a sound, but a presence of understanding, as though the space itself knows what it means to feel overwhelmed and has patiently learned the art of quiet reassurance. You whisper without entirely knowing why, "Thank you." The room does not answer with words. Instead, the lantern brightens just slightly, the way a friend might nod. Eventually you stand. You know you cannot stay here forever, not because you are unwelcome, but because this place is meant to be visited, not lived in. It is a sanctuary where thoughts can set their burdens down, not a world to replace your own. Before leaving, you take one last look at the shelves. You realize something important. Nothing here was destroyed. Nothing was hidden in anger or fear. Everything was preserved, honored, and given rest. You climb the stairs slowly and close the door behind you. The attic greets you like a warm room after stepping outside into winter. The music box is silent now. The owl has moved on. Snow continues to fall in its patient rhythm. And yet, something inside you feels different, steadier, clearer. You return to the chair, drawing the blanket back over your shoulders. The journal upstairs rests on your lap once more. You think about the secret room, the lantern, the tender way memories can be placed somewhere safe instead of carried endlessly. A gentle realization unfolds in your mind. Perhaps peace is not the absence of thoughts, but the understanding that you do not have to hold every one of them all the time. Outside, the night deepens. Stars gather themselves into constellations, tracing ancient patterns across the sky. Your breathing slows, peaceful and rhythmic. The attic, the hidden room, the snow, everything feels woven together into one long exhale. You are not lost. You are not late. You are simply here, and here is enough. You let the thought rest, the way a leaf rests on the surface of a quiet pond. There is no need to push it further. Insights that are meant to stay will return gently on their own. After a while, you open the journal again and find a blank page toward the back. The pen waits where someone left it, balanced across the spine as though inviting you. You hold it loosely, letting your hand hover before the page, not forcing any words, simply noticing what wishes to appear. Slowly, without effort, a sentence forms. I am learning to be patient with myself. The words surprise you with their softness. They do not demand perfection. They do not rush toward conclusions. They simply sit there like a quiet light. You add another line. It is all right to rest. You close the journal gently, as if tucking those thoughts into bed. The attic settles with you. The night becomes deeper still, but in the comforting way that bedrooms grow darker as sleep approaches. You sense again the faint hum of the house, pipes breathing, wood stretching. the distant sweep of wind along the eaves. Each sound becomes part of a lullaby. Your eyes wander toward the window. Outside, a lamplight down the street glows through the curtain of falling snow. It paints the white flakes in honey, colored halos, turning the world into something softly unreal, half dream, half memory. You wonder about the person who built this attic and the one who created the hidden room. You imagine them standing here years ago, also listening to the quiet, also hoping the night might carry away the heavier thoughts. Perhaps they too had long evenings of overthinking, the kind that feel endless until suddenly, quietly they don't. The idea brings a strange comfort. You are part of a long, invisible line of people learning how to let themselves rest. You rise once more and walk slowly around the attic, fingertips brushing over surfaces as you pass, the frame of the rocking horse, the cool glass of the lantern, the spine of a book whose title has faded almost completely. Everything feels softened by time. Nothing demands anything from you. A soft breeze slips through the window frame. It smells faintly of snow and cedar. You close your eyes and breathe it in. The air feels like a promise that the world, even at its coldest, still knows how to cradle you. When you sit down again, you realize that your thoughts have changed. They haven't disappeared. They have simply grown quieter, as if each one has taken a seat, folded its hands, and agreed to wait until morning. The blanket warms you. The chair holds you. The attic watches over you with a patience that feels almost like love. Somewhere below, the clock chimes once, a single, gentle note that drifts upward like a distant bell floating across a snowy field. It marks time not as something running out, but as something unfolding at exactly the right pace. You let your shoulders soften. You let your breath lengthen. You let the story of the attic continue within you without needing to understand every part of it. And gradually, as the night deepens, you begin to feel as if the house itself is breathing with you, slow, restful, steady. The rafters above curve like the ribs of some great sleeping creature. The floor beneath you holds firm, quiet, safe. You close your eyes for a moment, then open them again, not because you're startled, but because you want to see this place once more, to memorize the shapes and shadows and gentle glow. You recognize something precious here, not the objects themselves, but the feeling of being allowed to simply be. You whisper again, perhaps to the attic, perhaps to yourself, "It's okay now." And somewhere deep within the house, perhaps in the hidden room, perhaps only in your heart, a small, steady light continues to glow, promising that whenever you return, the quiet will be waiting. You settle back, aware that night will carry on with or without your attention, and that this, too, is freeing. You no longer feel the need to examine every thought, to turn each moment over like a coin searching for meaning on both sides. Instead, you let them drift. Some sink softly, some stay floating. None demand answers. A final sigh leaves your chest, long and peaceful. The attic dims not in darkness but in effort, everything becoming simpler, quieter, more gracious. You know you will explore more, learn more, feel more in time. But for now, stillness is enough. The wind eases, the snow hushes, and in that slow silver silence you rest, not asleep yet, not awake exactly, in the soothing space between, where night holds you gently and asks nothing at all. Here, everything is safe and beautifully, wonderfully quiet. The attic grows even softer as the night deepens, as though the darkness has learned how to hold light without swallowing it. The secret room beneath the floor feels like a memory you can still sense faintly. That steady lantern glowing in the quiet. Those shelves that hold what once felt heavy and have now become gentle. You sit for a while in the chair, wrapped in the blanket, listening to the hum of the night. The house shifts occasionally, an old, familiar body adjusting itself in sleep. The window gathers a small crescent of frost along its edge, tracing delicate white branches across the glass. You realize something calming nothing is rushing. Nothing needs to. Not the snow, not the night, not you. The journal rests nearby, and though you feel no urgency to write more, you find yourself lifting it again, just to run a hand along the cover. The paper smells faintly of dust and ink, like a library at closing time, peaceful, unhurried content. A quiet thought arrives, light as a feather. Perhaps every attic is a place where time becomes gentler, where unfinished stories wait without impatience, where half-remembered moments learn to rest. Your gaze drifts across the room, to boxes stacked carefully, trunks lined in faded cloth, books arranged in leaning rows like old friends supporting one another. Each object feels like a sentence paused thoughtfully in the middle, allowed to breathe before continuing. You stand. The floorboards welcome the pressure of your footsteps, as though they recognize you now. You move slowly, exploring corners you did not notice before. In one crate, wrapped carefully in tissue paper, lies a small wooden frame. Inside it, a sketch of the attic itself, much younger, less crowded, the beams still sharp, the walls freshly painted. A ladder leans against the far side, and sunlight pours through the window in confident golden stripes. Someone once loved this place enough to draw it. You return the sketch gently, honoring it the way the room honors everything it holds. A faint draft curls upward from the stairwell, carrying the mild, earthy fragrance of downstairs wood floors and cooling tea. You imagine the rest of the house in quiet agreement with the night hallways resting, doors leaning slightly in their frames, the kitchen sleeping in comfortable silence. You take another slow breath. Something subtle shifts inside you. Where worry once might have rushed in, there is only space. Soft, uncluttered space. Your attention returns to the trapdoor. You feel no need to open it again. The memory of that warm, golden lantern is enough. Instead, you sit near it on the floor, leaning against a sturdy wooden chest. The wood is smooth and cool against your back, supportive in a simple, dependable way. You close your eyes. In that darkness, not the darkness of fear, but the darkness of rest, images drift by gently. You see the lantern again, burning without effort. You see the objects on the shelves, held with care. You see the words you wrote a little while ago. I am learning to be patient with myself. The idea unfolds more fully now. Patience is not something you force. It is something that grows when you stop rushing your own heart. When you treat yourself with the same kindness as this attic offers to dust-covered treasures, letting each thought arrive and settle, instead of demanding it explain itself immediately. You open your eyes slowly. The attic greets you as though nothing has changed, yet everything feels quieter within you. Near the window sits a small bench you hadn't explored before. Upon it is a tin box decorated with tiny painted constellations. You lift the lid, it makes a soft metallic sigh, and inside you find postcards. Not from faraway countries, but from ordinary towns, ordinary streets, ordinary moments. A lakeside at dusk, a bakery just before opening, a park bench after rain. Each card has a short message on the back, sometimes just a sentence. Thought of you today. Wish you could have seen the light on the water. Nothing much happened. It was nice. You smile. There is something deeply comforting about smallness, about lives that allow themselves to be gentle. You return the cards carefully, closing the tin with the same reverence one might close a music box. Outside, the snow slows. The flakes grow larger, drifting lazily, as if they too have decided there is no need to hurry into the world. You lean closer to the window, feeling the faint chill it carries. The lamplight down the street glows softly, haloed in moisture, casting long glimmers across the wet cobblestones below. You imagine someone walking there, coat collar turned up, footsteps quiet, mind perhaps full of thoughts, and you silently wish for them the same calm that is settling over you. A sense of gentle gratitude begins to swell, not loud or overwhelming, simply present. Gratitude for the house, the attic, the secret room. Gratitude for night itself, for the way it invites everything to soften. You return to the chair, but this time you do not curl inward. You sit loosely, shoulders open, as though you have grown a bit taller inside your own peace. The blanket drapes across you like a cloud, light and warm. You think again about the lantern below the floor, how it glowed with that unwavering, humble light. Not bright like a spotlight, not dramatic, only steady. You understand now there is power in gentleness. There is strength in the quiet choice to rest instead of chase, to listen instead of argue, to allow instead of control. The attic reflects that strength back to you. On a nearby shelf, an hourglass rests on its side. Not forgotten, simply paused. Sand waits patiently, not insisting on falling. You lift it, turn it over, and watch as the grains begin to drift downward, slow, unhurried, each one taking its own time to reach the bottom. It feels like a metaphor whispered softly to your heart. Everything eventually finds its place. You place the hourglass back. You do not watch it finish. It doesn't matter. The act of turning it was enough. A quiet acknowledgement that time can be gentle when we let it. The quiet deepens again. Not empty full, but in the peaceful way a lake is full. You close your eyes once more, and this time you imagine yourself standing again in the hidden room. The lantern glows, the shelves breathe, and in the center of it all remains that silent invitation. Whatever you feel too heavy to carry right now, you may set it down here. You picture a small satchel in your hands, made of soft fabric, tied with a cord. Inside, not physical objects, but thoughts, expectations that feel too tight, worries that repeat, stories you tell yourself that no longer heal. You loosen the string, you pour them gently onto the table. They don't vanish. They simply change, becoming lighter, becoming shapes that can rest. You leave them there. The lantern watches over them kindly, and when you step back up into the attic of your imagination, you notice just how spacious everything feels now. There is room to breathe, room to stretch, room to sleep. Your body sinks deeper into the chair. The blanket hugs your shoulders more closely. Your jaw releases. The muscles at the back of your neck soften. You notice how natural it is, really, to move toward comfort when you allow yourself permission. Downstairs, the clock chimes again, another small, tender note that floats through the floorboards like a lullaby. It reminds you that night continues its slow, graceful unfolding. Nothing is lost. Everything finds its rhythm. Your eyelids grow heavier in the warmth. Thoughts fade into images, then into sensations, then into something even quieter. You drift not away from yourself, but deeper into a softer version of being. The attic holds you, the way a story holds its listener, gently, carefully, with affection. And in that deep night stillness, another realization touches you. Peace does not always arrive with grand revelations. Sometimes it arrives like this: a lantern in a small hidden room, an attic full of memories allowed to rest. the simple understanding that you are safe right now. You let that truth settle, not forcing it, not analyzing it, simply letting it be, the way snowflakes land softly on roofs and branches without asking permission. Outside, the wind subsides entirely. The world seems to lean into the hush, as though taking its own deep breath. You feel yourself beginning to slip towards sleep, slowly, gently, without effort. There is still more of the night to travel, more dreams to wander through, more quiet discoveries waiting in the soft darkness of your own mind. But for now, the attic remains your companion, timeless, patient, luminous in its quiet way. You whisper, barely audible, "I'll come back," and you know you will, not necessarily to this same imagined place, but to the feeling it gave you, the calm, the acceptance, the soft, unwavering light. You let your head rest a little heavier against the back of the chair. Breath in, breath out, each one slower than the last. The lantern below continues glowing in your memory, its steady flame like a promise that no matter how busy the world becomes again, no matter how many thoughts gather, there will always be somewhere inside you where quiet lives. And as the attic drifts further into darkness, not frightening darkness, but the cozy darkness of a home that trusts the night, you feel your mind finally, truly begin to settle, as if it has found the precise rhythm it was searching for all along. Here, calm is not something you chase. It is something that gently finds you. And surrounded by the tenderness of this silent place, wrapped in warmth, watched over by patient shad, the night has reached that quiet hour when everything seems to understand that it is time to soften. The world outside the attic has dimmed to a hush so deep that even the snow appears to listen to itself falling. The house has settled fully, the beams relaxing into their places, the walls breathing in long, slow rhythms. You sit there, wrapped in the blanket, and it occurs to you that the attic no longer feels like a place you discovered. It feels like a place that gently welcomed you back, as if you had always belonged here in some subtle, unspoken way. A relaxed heaviness spreads through your limbs. Your hands rest loosely on your lap. Your shoulders hang without effort. Your breathing drifts into a slower pattern, as natural as the tide. Nothing presses on your mind now. Thoughts arrive the way clouds pass across a quiet sky, drifting, changing shape, dissolving without fuss. The memory of the secret room lingers, softly at the edge of awareness, the lantern's steady glow. The shelves of burdens turn gentle, the simple act of setting things down. You sense that even if you never return there, the calm it taught you will stay, like a small, eternal light tucked safely somewhere inside. After a while, curiosity awakens again, not the restless kind, but the tender curiosity of someone who trusts the night. You rise slowly, not because you must, but because you want to experience this room one last time before rest fully gathers you. Your bare feet move across the floorboards. Each step is unhurried, every sound softened by the thick blanket of silence surrounding the house. You trace the beams with your eyes, noticing how shadows collect gently in the rafters like drowsy birds. Across the room sits an old cabinet you hadn't opened yet, its hinges speckled with a faint shimmer of age. You lift the latch. It clicks softly, like a whisper agreeing to be heard. Inside are notebooks stacked neatly in rows. They vary in color and thickness, some bound in leather, others wrapped in cloth, a few tied together with thin pieces of twine. You lift one carefully. The pages inside contain pages of weather notes, calm days, rainy afternoons, winter storms described in careful handwriting. There are no dramatic narratives, no sharp turns, only observations that read like small, loving conversations with the sky. Light snow began just after dusk, one softened by evening, moon seen briefly through broken clouds. You smile. There is something deeply reassuring in the way someone took the time to notice such gentle things. To them, the world was not ordinary. It was patient, worth observing, worth remembering. You place the notebook back, grateful not for its information, but for its kindness. The attic, now fully a companion, offers one more subtle invitation. Your gaze drifts toward the window, where the glass has become a foggy mirror of the dim interior. You approach it, resting a hand lightly on the frame. The cold seeps slowly into your skin, not unpleasantly, just enough to remind you that you are warm and safe inside. Beyond the glass lies a world softened by snow. The rooftops look like gentle hills covered in white quilts. Street lamps glow like quiet moons hovering just above the ground. The night has no edges, only curves, like the calm slope of sleep itself. A soft reflection appears beside yours in the faint glow of the attic, the lantern's memory, still golden, still steady. You realize that calm is no longer just something you're experiencing here. It is something you're learning to carry. You breathe in, you breathe out. The breath moves through you like a tide washing the shore clean. You return to the chair, the same place where the night first began to unfold around you, and sit once again. But this time, you don't feel like someone taking refuge. You feel like someone arriving home. The blanket slips over your shoulders, and the fabric gently contours to your shape, as though it's memorizing your comfort. Your spine lengthens. Your chest opens. Your head finds the perfect resting angle without effort. Down below, the hidden lantern in your memory shines, and it feels as if the warmth rises through the floorboards, meeting the quiet above. two worlds, seen and unseen, settle into harmony. You imagine the trapdoor now closed not as a barrier, but as a promise. Whatever rests beneath it is safe, watched over, understood. You don't have to tend to everything at once. Some things are allowed to simply exist, waiting as long as they need, bathed in gentle light. Your mind touches softly on older worries, the ones that once circled endlessly, asking for answers. Now they feel like distant shapes on the horizon, softened by mist. They no longer grip, they no longer insist. They fade into a wider calm. In this attic, time feels like a slow river. You are not fighting the current. You are floating upon it, supported, carried, quietly reassured by every gentle ripple. From somewhere in the house, a faint creak sounds, not startling, but comforting, like the way an old friend shifts slightly beside you. The sound reminds you that everything living makes small movements, even in rest. Peace does not mean stillness. It means softness around everything that moves. Your breathing grows slower again. Each inhale feels a little less because it doesn't need to. Each exhale lengthens, drifting out like a sigh gently released into the dark. Thoughts now fade between breaths. The attic, sensing your drifting, seems to settle even further. Boxes darken into silhouettes. Shelves blur, corners melt into shadow. The world becomes one gentle tone, layered in shades of rest. You notice how easy it feels to do nothing, to simply be here, to let the night carry you. Imagine now that the attic itself has a heartbeat, slow, deep, quiet. Each pulse seems to sync with your own, until you cannot tell where the house ends and you begin. You are part of the structure, the beam, the floor, the warmth, the night. The journal rests on the table with its new words tucked safely inside. You do not need to read them again. It is enough that they exist. Your thoughts have been heard by you, by the quiet, by something older and more patient than either. Outside, the last of the snow drifts lazily downward, spiraling as though reluctant to land. The lamplight gathers in tiny halos around every flake, transforming them into slow, moving stars. And for a moment, everything feels both infinite and very small, beautifully simple. A memory surfaces, faint and gentle, the hourglass you turned earlier. You picture it continuing its slow flow of sand, each grain falling with dignity. You realize with a calm certainty that nothing needs to be rushed. Life arrives grain by grain, moment by moment. Tonight's moment simply happens to be rest. Your eyelids grow heavier. The world narrows lovingly. The attic air becomes softer still, like velvet. A sense of gratitude hums quietly within you. Gratitude not for anything extraordinary, but for the sweetness of ordinary peace. For the way a room can hold you. For the way night invites you to let go. The house senses your nearness to sleep and answers in kind, shrinking its sounds down to whispers. Even the wind outside has found a slower voice, brushing lightly against the eaves, as if not wanting to wake anyone. You shift only slightly, finding an even more comfortable position. The blanket tucks beneath your arms, your chin lowers. The space between thoughts widens. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to solve, nothing left to remember or plan. All that remains is this: a quiet room, a gentle night, and a body finally allowed to rest. You picture yourself one last time, descending in imagination to the lantern lit room beneath the floor. You lay the soft satchel on the table, the one filled with thoughts too heavy to carry, and you simply nod to them. They are not enemies. They are just tired, and now they are resting too. When you step back up into the attic of your mind, you close the door gently, leaving the light burning. Not bright, just steady. You return to the chair, the blanket, the breath. The night wraps around everything like a calm ocean, and you float upon it, supported by quiet, by darkness without fear, by a peace that finally feels natural. And slowly, slower than snow, slower than falling sand, sleep begins to gather. It does not rush, it does not seize. It simply arrives like a kind hand, resting softly over your thoughts, smoothing them down. Your final awareness drifts outward, touching the beams, the window, the shelves, the secret lantern, the whole quiet house, as though saying a gentle goodnight to every piece of it. You understand now calm isn't somewhere far away. It is already here, dwelling quietly in spaces you rarely paused long enough to notice. The attic holds you, patient and tender. As you cross the last threshold into dreams, your breath easy, your heart unburdened, the night around you soft as a lullaby that goes on and on, longer than words, deeper than thought, peaceful as the steady glow of a lantern that never needs to hurry, never needs to prove anything, simply shining quietly through the most restful hours of the dark. And so, in that gentle glow, you drift and drift and drift into the deepest, calmest sleep. Night has grown quieter. The streets outside the old umbrella maker's shop have faded into a soft hush. The world wrapped gently in layers of stillness, like fabric folded carefully for safekeeping. The lamps have dimmed, the shadows have softened, and the soft glow inside the shop settles over everything like a warm, quiet blanket. You don't need to follow the details anymore. You don't need to remember where each umbrella stood on the shelves, or how the light rested on the polished wood, or how the gentle rhythm of the night carried you here. All of that can drift now. All of it can float away. You've already walked through the story. You've already felt its warmth, its calm, its slow reassurance. Now there is only the quiet, and the quiet is kind. It spreads gently, like mist rolling slowly across a calm lake. It reaches into corners of thought that were once crowded, once full of movement, once busy with worries and plans and lists. It settles into those spaces with patience, letting everything relax, letting everything loosen and soften. The world outside will continue being the world, but not right now. Right now, there is only rest. Imagine, for just a moment, the old umbrella maker closing the last drawer, smoothing his hands across the counter and taking one last peaceful look around, not in sadness, not in hurry, simply with gratitude, the kind of quiet gratitude that feels like a slow breath. It is the same feeling that begins to gather inside you, a sense that you have arrived in a gentle pause between moments, a place where you don't have to be anything, or prove anything, or hold anything together. A place where you're allowed to set everything down, knowing it will still be there tomorrow, waiting calmly, exactly where you left it. Your body knows this feeling. It recognizes it the way a shoreline recognizes the tide. Each breath becomes slower, softer, deeper, as if you are breathing along with the night itself. In, out, in, out. A rhythm that asks nothing of you except to allow it. A rhythm that invites your thoughts to wander less and rest more, as if the mind itself were gradually finding a soft pillow. You may notice here and there a thought that tries to drift back in, something unfinished, something remembered, something planned. Let it come and go the way a quiet breeze brushes past a window, there for a moment, gone the next, leaving only stillness behind. There is no need to push anything away. You simply don't have to follow it. Return instead to the gentle atmosphere that still lingers from the shop after dark, the faint smell of polished wood, the whisper of rain tapping softly somewhere beyond the walls, the old clock ticking in its slow, thoughtful rhythm. These details don't belong to the waking world anymore. They belong to the part of the night where dreams begin to gather, and dreams are gentle here. They drift in slowly, like feathers, like soft clouds, like delicate umbrellas opening against the quiet sky. They don't rush toward you. They don't demand attention. They simply wait for you to grow lighter, calmer, more ready to float with them. If you listen closely, not with your ears, but with the calm inside, you might feel the sense of being cared for by the night itself, as though the darkness here isn't emptiness at all, but something safe and thoughtful, something that watches over you the way someone might watch over a small light, making sure it stays warm. You are allowed to feel safe. You are allowed to feel held. You are allowed to feel the weight of your day gently sliding off your shoulders, melting into the mattress, sinking into softness. The parts of you that worked hard, the parts that worried, the parts that tried so much to keep everything together, all of them can finally rest. There is nothing you need to solve right now, nothing you need to analyze, nothing you need to prepare for. The quiet has taken over that responsibility, and it handles it kindly, the way soft rain looks after the earth while it sleeps. While you lie here, doing nothing more than breathing gently, the night quietly rearranges the world so that morning will meet you with more clarity, more calm, more space inside. For now, it is only about letting go. Let go of the day. Let go of the expectations. Let go of the need to think your way forward. The old umbrella maker's shop remains in your memory like a peaceful lantern, not something loud or bright, just a soft glow you can return to whenever your thoughts feel restless. It will always be there, untouched by time, dusted lightly with moonlight, every umbrella standing patiently in its place. And you can step back into that calm anytime. But tonight, you don't even need to walk there again. Tonight, you can simply drift. Your breath slows a little more. Your body grows heavier and lighter at the same time. Heavy where it meets the bed, light everywhere else. It becomes easy to imagine that you are gently floating, supported by something soft and steady beneath you, as if there were a quiet current carrying you toward deeper rest. Each moment stretches into the next, unhurried. There is no clock here, only the slow unfolding of relaxation. Your muscles soften, your jaw loosens, your shoulders release just a little more. Even the space between your thoughts widens, like doorways opening into larger rooms of stillness. You don't have to step through them. You simply notice the openness, and in noticing it, you relax further. You are allowed to be simple. You are allowed to just be. The night doesn't judge, doesn't measure, doesn't compare. It simply surrounds you gently, the way a quiet shoreline holds the ocean without trying to control it. Whatever waves are left in your thoughts grow smaller, 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 until they become ripples, and then gradually, almost imperceptibly, they disappear into calm water. If sleep comes now, let it come softly. Let it arrive like a door that quietly opens. Let it gather around you like the soft lining inside an umbrella, wrapping you in safe shade from the noise of the world. There is nothing to do, nothing to force. Sleep knows the way. It has been finding you your entire life, again and again, patiently, lovingly, each night a new invitation. And tonight, the invitation is especially gentle. The shop after dark fades into a distant glow. The lamps dim further. The sound of rain becomes a memory of sound, and then even that memory grows lighter, quieter, more transparent, until it dissolves into complete stillness. Here, in this stillness, you are held. You are safe. You are resting. And as you drift further, maybe already slipping into dreams, maybe hovering only a breath above them, the night continues to watch over you, steady and calm, like a friend who never rushes you, never hurries you, never asks anything except, rest now, breathe, sleep. And when morning eventually finds you, whenever it does, however gently it arrives, it will meet someone who allowed themselves to be quiet, who let their worries soften, who gave their mind the gift of peace. For now there is only this quiet, and it is yours.